Court to rule on INEC's application seeking to reconfigure beavers today. Then on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, Tinubu files suit as appeal court rules on INEC's move to reconfigure beavers. Then lastly, on the front page of the Daily Asset newspaper, PDP slams INEC's move to reconfigure beavers. Now, to the review proper, and with me in the house is my regular guest, Citizen Lolawe. You are welcome on the program.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Yeah.
And let me seize this opportunity to say happy International Women's Day commemoration to all Nigerian women.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Now, let's start with the Punch newspaper. Fuel stations, others reject old Naira, banks ration cash.
I think the act of those rejecting the old Naira note is wrong, but it is as a result of what the president of the country did the last time the Supreme Court gave an interim order that we should continue to use the old Naira note. The president came out and said only, the Supreme Court's order was that the 200 Naira, 500 Naira and the 1,000 Naira note remained legal tender until judgment was given, which was an interim order. But shortly after that, the president came out to say only the 200 Naira, which I see as an act of impunity. But because the president enjoys immunity, that was why he was able to get away with that. Otherwise, his action was nothing short of contempt of court. The highest court in the land had given an interim order, which I believe was supposed to have been obeyed. But because the government is, the president got different kinds of advice, legal advice. Some saying yes, you should obey. Some said he could disobey. But I don't think anybody is above the law. The only difference is that he enjoys immunity for now. But now that the Supreme Court has given a final ruling, everybody, including the president and the governor of Central Bank, are bound by the judgment or by the ruling of the Supreme Court. So I do not see any reason why any citizen of Nigeria should refuse to accept the old Naira note, because it remains a legal tender until the 31st of December 2023, according to Supreme Court ruling. However, since people are skeptical about the enforcement of that court ruling, and that is why the federal government, either the president or the governor of Central Bank, should come out to tell us their stand, or even Mr. Malami should come out and let us know exactly what the federal government stand on the court ruling is, so that we know what the next step of action to take. But as far as I am concerned, that the old Naira notes remain legal tender.
Okay, let's move on to the nation news story with the political story. INEC, reset of beavers a must for governorship poll.
Yes, the governorship and the House of Assembly polls is slated to hold on Saturday, the 11th of March 2023. And if the beavers are not reconfigured, it will be difficult to use them on Saturday. And I'm not sure that we have enough beavers to say, okay, we keep those ones aside and use new ones. Especially since we have lost a number of beavers to activities of the enemies of Nigeria, who kept attacking INEC offices until the election took place about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So legally, INEC is trying to run away from running into issues that may bring the country, may result into Nigeria having to resort to interim governments. At the center, since the result of the presidential and national assembly elections are being challenged in court. If the governorship and House of Assembly election also does not take place as required by the Constitution, because there is a time frame within which the election should hold. If that does not happen, the country will run into serious problems. So I understand what INEC is talking about. I also understand what the political parties that have gone to court are talking about, because they need evidence to prove their case. So if they are denied access to the evidence they need to prove the case, then it will be difficult to establish that they won, that there were anomalies that took place during the presidential polls. And then it will also be difficult for INEC to prove and convince Nigerians that the election was truly free, fair, and credible, as required, as expected by Nigerians and non-Nigerians as a whole.
Let's move to the Blueprint newspaper now. As Atiku Obi challenged February 25 poll results, Tinubu prepares defense. Appeal court rules on BVAS machines today.
Like I said earlier, all the parties, those opposing the results of the presidential election that took place about 2 weeks ago, have a right to go to court and challenge that result. Also, the president-elect also has a right to gather materials that he will use to defend his mandate. And since the case is in court, there's very little I can say about it. I wish all the parties the very best of luck. I'm only concerned about what the court is going to say today about whether the BVAS should be reconfigured because of the legal implication. Not.
Now, let's move to the leadership newspaper. 3 days to governorship polls. Governors tighten nose on opposition.
Yes, I want to believe that is as a result of the fallout of the presidential election. There were a number of offsets in some states. States like Lagos State didn't expect that the result was going to be that poor for the ruling party. Same goes for states like Oyo, Ogun, where opposition party won the state. So they have to do everything, especially those of them that are coming that need re-election to ensure that they come back into office. And even those that are not coming back, they want their party to retain their hold on those states that they are governing presently. And that's why they are doing all that they are doing to ensure that they emerge victorious at the polls come Saturday, 11th March 2023. I just want to use this opportunity to appeal to Nigerians, especially the electorate, to ensure that they play by the rules, that they are not, they do not allow themselves to be used by unscrupulous politicians who may want to use them to perpetrate a number of crimes against the country. I also want to appeal to the politicians to also play by the rule. We have to imbibe the sportsman spirit. You win some, you lose some. If you win today, good. If you do not, there's going to be another time if you are alive.
Yeah.
So they should stay alive and then remain honorable. They should do everything that make them to remain honorable.
All right.
Not do anything that will discredit that person.
All right. Let's have the related story from the Daily Asset now. PDP slams INEC's move to reconfigure beavers.
Like I had explained earlier, if the beavers are reconfigured, then it will be difficult for them to get the information that they claim they need to prove their case in court. If the beavers are not reconfigured, it will be difficult to hold the election on Saturday. So I think let's wait and hear what the outcome, what the court will rule today, whether in favor of INEC or in favor of the political parties.
All right.
But I just want to appeal Nigeria to ensure that peace reigns.
Okay, all right.
Because after 4 years, we will have another opportunity to elect whosoever we want. So, but that is only if we have a country. And that is only if we are alive. It is only the living that votes.
All right. On Nigeria Tribune, we have a related story. Court ruled today on INEC's request to reconfigure beavers. But away from that, drama as pro-Tinubu group CSOs storm INEC.
Yeah, everybody has the right, freedom of expression. PDP expressed their opinion on Monday. It was a black protest. They were all in black. So the pro-Tinubu's group also have a right to freedom of expression. Same to the coalition of civil society organizations. As far as their protests remain peaceful, it is legitimate.
All right. Now, let's have another story on the... I'm moving back to the Punch newspaper now, above the nameplate of the paper. Over 200 cyber attacks blocked during presidential poll. That's coming from the federal government.
Yes, and that is the explanation that that INEC has given to justify why the beavers failed during the presidential election. But I was out as a domestic observer and I saw that INEC, the ad hoc staff, immediately after the election, took a snapshot of the results after giving copies
to the agents.
That copies of the results that were signed. I also saw it. I took pictures of those results. I forwarded the results to the necessary quarters. And then the ad hoc staff also uploaded. And then I also experienced difficulties sending. In fact, there was a particular period when we couldn't even access the forms that we're supposed to use for the to make our own reports to the necessary quarters that we to report to.
And what was responsible for that?
It's a network failure. It was network failure. So it wasn't an attempt of it wasn't an act of sabotage. There was network failure for a period of time, and it didn't affect only me because we were communicating. All of us were communicating at the same time, and then I saw that it was what I was experienced was also being experienced by some other people. And then we must also take note of the fact that this is the very first time that we're using these beavers for the general election or for off-cycle election. Very few people were accessing the cyber at the same time. But this time around, 700 over 1,000 people, almost 2,000 people were trying to access the same cyber at about the same time. So if we take note of, if we consider the implication, and then now that we are hearing that there were some hackers who were also at work. Those hackers, are they working in the interest of Nigeria? Or working against the interest of Nigeria? So there's so many factors actually contributed to the inability of INEC to upload the scanned copies of the results. So, but from my experience, when you send an SMS message or a WhatsApp message, if it is not delivered because of network problem, once there is a network, once the network is up and doing, it will be delivered the way it was sent.
All right.
So, but let's leave the rest for the courts to decide.
Okay, all right. Let's quickly have this story still above the nameplate of Nigerian Tribune. It concerns everybody in the country. Tough times as tomato prices record 90% increase in 1 year.
Yeah, I think we have not been too lucky. In 2020, we had issues with coronavirus pandemic, which resulted in the lockdown of the economy. Farmers were locked in their homes. They couldn't go to the farm. And by the time the lockdown was over, flood also came and then contributed. So the carryover effect is still what we are experiencing now, coupled with cash crunch, which has made prices of goods to go up. And then in this part of the world, we have not invested enough in preservation of our agricultural products. When we have gluts, what do? Prices fall below expectation. A basket of tomatoes could sell for as low as 5,000. But when periods where we do not have, during dry season, that is when we usually experience glut. Because during rainy season, the rains spoils tomatoes quickly, so there's usually scarcity during that period, and the prices goes up.
All right. Now let's have this one on the New Telegraph newspaper. International Women's Day. Political space shrinks for Nigerian women.
It's quite unfortunate. It's quite unfortunate. I think we have still not understood the importance of gender equity and equality. We can't achieve equality without working on equity. There must be an equity. We are not, men and women are not starting from the same point. It's like you want to go on a 400 meters race. You don't all, the four runners do not start from the same point. But this time around in Nigeria, men and women are not starting from the same point. Are not on the same level, but we start from the same point. The gimmicks being played by political parties talking about free forms to female contestants. I was in Abuja last year when a woman complained that when she went to tell her party chairman, local government chairman, that she was interested in contesting for a particular office, the man told her outright that there was no space for her. And that this, I believe that if until we realize the need for a balanced, gender balanced society, the importance to our economy, to the peace of the nation, to the development of the nation, women will always have it very rough.
All right. Now, another dimension of the story. International Women's Day. Buhari celebrates Nigerian women as stakeholders canvass girl-child development.
Yes, that was why I was talking about we not starting on the same point.
Okay.
And at the same, we not being on the same level. And that was why I was talking about equity.
Okay.
They say those who will judge us by the heights we have achieved, we do well to judge us by the depth from which we began.
Okay.
Women have experienced have been disadvantaged over the years in areas of education and areas of even health, even in the areas of upbringing. While boys are encouraged to go into courses like engineering, girls are encouraged to go to do courses in arts, do nursing, while boys are encouraged to go to study medicine, medical
courses,
medical science courses.
Okay.
Girls are often encouraged to be teachers, to be nurses, to be secretaries. No, that must change. And then when girls even want to go to school, I still remember the case of the Chibok girls that they are still in the custody of the evil people. I remember the case of Leah Shaibu that is still being held against her wish. I remember the case of girls that are daily being raped in Osun, daily being defied in Osun State to discourage them from going to schools. So until we are able to address all gender-based violence being experienced by women and girls, we are not likely to get it right.
All right. Thank you, Citizen Lalawi, for coming on the program today. This is where we're going to round it off for today because of our time. Thank you.
Thank you very
for coming.
much.
All right. Viewers at home, this is where we are going to round it off for today on the program. Tomorrow is another day when you join another of my colleagues on the program. Until then, bye-bye.